Welcome to another edition of PDL Techniques. Today I want to talk to you about how you can attach standards, content standards to your assignments in Canvas. We're going to be talking about a feature in in Canvas, called Outcomes that will allow you to do that. So now when students are completing assignments or taking quizzes, they are going to be assessed on these standards, and that data is going to be collected in Canvas for you to view as a teacher, as well as for the students to view for themselves. So let me show you how you can set these up in your course. So when you're in your course, the first thing that you'll need to do is you'll need to import the outcomes that you want to use into your course. So to do that in your course navigation, once you arrive at your course, you're going to want to click Outcomes. And when you click Outcomes, you're going to arrive at a screen that looks like this, where you're going to see a couple of buttons up here at the top. So you're going to see an Add Outcome button, where you can create your own outcome if you want to. You can create outcome groups. Outcome groups are essentially folders of outcomes. So if you want to put outcomes and group them together, that this outcome group will allow you to create folders and put multiple outcomes into one folder or one outcome group. You can also import standards from a CSV file. So if you have that already done, or you're working, you build that, you can import that into Canvas as well. But where I'm going to start from is the options that are already available to you in Canvas. So I'm going to start by clicking the Find button. So when I click Find, I'm going to see these two options: Account Standards as well as Common Core Standards. So each of these folders will have different things inside of them. I'm going to be operating from the Account Standards option. So when I click Account Standards, I'm going to see some additional folders that we'll have available to us. I'm going to drill down to the one that says Charlotte Mecklenburg. And then you'll see some additional ones down here, and I'm going to choose Standard Course of Study. And in here, you will start to see different options that are available here. You can also, if you're searching for another content area besides English or math, you could search in some of these other options like North Carolina. You might see some options in there that might suit your course your curriculum better there. But for purposes of this, I'm just going to use the math standards from here. So I'm going to click on the one that says math. I want you to notice something here that there is this import button that lights up already. So if I wanted to, I could import this entire math folder. That would encompass everything in here and everything in all of these folders if you wanted to. So once you see this blue import button light up, you now have the ability to import wherever you are currently on. So again, I'm currently on this math 2017. If I wanted to, I could click that import button and it will import everything in that folder. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill this down a little bit more. So I'm going to do I'm going to choose another option. So I'm going to go to 5th grade math, and I'm going to continue to drill down more, and we can choose some of these other ones. I'm going to choose this one here that says number and operations with fractions, and I'll click on that one. And then again, at any point I could stop and I could choose import, but I'm just going to keep drilling down a little bit more. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I think I will click on this one and import everything that's in this folder. But just so you can see, you can continue to drill down and go deeper more into these folders. And now you'll start to see, once you see this symbol here, that means you're actually at a standard. So when I get into this folder here, you'll see this folder contains these standards inside of it. So you'll have access to this. But I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to start from this folder, this numbers and operations and with fractions. And I'm going to choose import. And so now I have this outcome group imported into my course. So I'll be able to use all the outcomes that are within this folder. So we're going to be associating outcomes with assignments as well as quizzes. You can also do the same thing with discussions. but discussions will work the same way as assignments. So we're going to walk you through that. So I'm going to begin by using assignments, and to associate an outcome with an assignment, we are going to use rubrics. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to go over here to my course navigation, and I'm going to select assignments. I'm going to select one of my assignments that I have. I'm going to choose this first one at the top here, Division Lesson 1. And here you'll see this is my assignment that I have for my students. And so what I want to do now is to attach an assignment, an outcome to this assignment. I'm going to go down here to the bottom where it says Add Rubric. So I can click on that. Now, if I had a rubric already developed, then I could go over here and hit Find Rubric. But for this case, I don't have one developed for this particular course. So I'm just going to start attaching outcomes to this blank rubric by clicking this Find Outcome button. So when I click the Find Outcome option, it will then pull up all of the outcomes that I have imported into this course. So you see there is that folder that I imported, and now I can click on it, and now I can drill down. I can go to either one of these folders, and I can continue to drill down, and I can start to select outcomes to include for this particular assignment. So if I wanted to, I could click on this one outcome and click import. And now there in the rubric is that particular outcome. And now I can go back and do the same thing again, click Find Outcome. And now if I want to get a different one, I can click on the folder. And again, now there are the 3 outcomes. I can click on one of these and do that. And I can continue to go here and choose all the outcomes that I want to be assessed for this particular assignment. Unfortunately, you do have to go one by one, but just know that that's how you can start attaching your outcomes to this particular assignment. So once you do that, I am going to click on this option here where it says use rubric use this rubric for assignment grading. I'm going to check this box off. I'm going to delete this first criteria since there's nothing in it, and let it just be my outcomes here. Okay, and then watch, you're going to see what it will say. I'm going to hit create rubric, and now it's going to give me this message, basically letting me know that my assignment is already out of 100, and now we're adding these 20 points to it. Do we want to change it? So I'm going to actually click change, and now my assignment will be out of the 20 points. So it now found my rubric and saw how many points it was, and now it adjusted the point total there. So you'll see that as an option. So that's all you have to do to create, to associate a outcome or outcomes to an assignment. So I'm going to show you how you can then assign outcomes to quizzes, and then we're going to start taking a look at the grading for it, and then what it will look like in your gradebook. So to associate outcomes with a quiz, we're going to go ahead and go to our quizzes, and I'm going to select one of my quizzes. I'm going to use this dividing fractions option. And now for quizzes, you can do it in a more direct way. So, but you do have a couple of options that you should be aware of. First, you'll see you have an outcomes button up here at the top. So as the instructor, I can click on this outcomes button and then click on the link down here where it says browse and add outcomes by clicking here. So when I select this option, you will now see the outcome group that I imported earlier will be available there. And now I can click on that, and I can select the folders and drill down and click on the outcomes that I want to be um, reviewed for this. And now once I've included those, I can click confirm alignments, and now I have these two. And if I wanted to add more, I could always click the plus sign and go back here and add some more outcomes for this as well. I'm going to go ahead and add the ones that we included earlier. So now I have all these outcomes that are being associated with this particular quiz. Now you do have the ability, instead of associating outcomes to the entire quiz, you do have the ability to associate outcomes to individual questions. So you can go to this question here, for an example. I can go to edit this question. And then at the bottom down here where it says align to outcomes, I can click on that option there. And there you're going to see the same workflow from here. Click on that browse and add outcomes by clicking here link. And then now it's going to give me the same options, and I can go through and do the same thing. I'm going to skip that for now, but I just wanted you to be aware that that was an option there. So now we have our outcomes associated with an assignment and a quiz. So now the next step is I am going to complete these assignments and this quiz as a student, and then we are going to look at reviewing them from the teacher's perspective. Okay, now I have a submission from a student for the assignment that I developed, and I also have a completed quiz that I created as well, both of the ones that I attached the outcomes to. So I want to show you this from the teacher perspective. So now as the teacher, I can go to that assignment, and now I can click Speed Grader. And this is this one was just a test, but this is my test student where I can see, I'd be able to see their submission. And I would now what we'd be able to do is in SpeedGrader, I can click on View Rubric, and there is the rubric with the outcomes that I see that I assigned to this. So now I could click on the outcomes here to evaluate how the students did based off of the standard. And then I can click Submit, and then now it'll give me my point value, and I can see where the student met standards and where they did not meet expectations. Okay, and so now I'm going to go back to my gradebook, and for the quiz is self-grading, so I don't have to do anything for that. So that data is already collected. So now what I can do is I can click on my gradebook over here. When I click this drop-down option, there's an option here that says Learning Mastery. And now when I click on Learning Mastery, it will give me the ability to see the outcomes that I've attached to my course. You'll see these are all the outcomes that I have attached to my course here. They're listed. Now, one thing to keep in mind that's important to note, these are all of the outcomes that I have attached in the folders. If I had downloaded or if I had imported the entire math folder or even all the entire 5th grade math folder, then every standard would be listed across here. Now the nice thing is you do have these checkboxes over here, so it does gives me the ability to hide outcomes that have no results. So when I check that off, you'll see it'll remove those standards that don't have any data connected to it. So I can just see this. And so now I can go over here and I can get an idea of how we're doing as a class. Now, right now I just have one student, but I can see where they are meeting standards, exceeding standards, where they're near, where they're well below. I'll be able to see all of that. And then up here at the top, I'll be able to you see when I hover over the standard, I get a pie chart of the entire class. So right now I just have one student, so that's why you're going to see it'll say 100% for all of them. But if I had multiple students who were taking this pie chart would reflect where we stood as a class on each one of these standards. So as a teacher, this is a nice glance at where we are from a standard perspective for for each individual standard. So now I want to show you what it will now look like from the student perspective. So let me go back in the student role. Okay, so now in the student role, now what I can do is I can click on grades. And here it will list all of the assignments and my grades for each one of the assignments. But what you'll notice here up at the top next to assignments, there's also this tab here for learning mastery. This is the same one that we saw from the teacher perspective. So now when a student clicks on learning mastery, they will see the standards that were attached or imported into this course. So again, they're going to see all of the standards that were attached to this. And they'll be able to click on each one, and then it will tell them where they are. It's showing that they've mastered this standard based off of the scores they received in these assignments. And then you'll be able to see here where they are for each one. 0 for 2. So they'll be able to click on here to see which ones they missed, and they'll be able to click on these other ones to see which ones they were able to meet. So as a student, I can get a quick glance of where I am on each standard. So that's outcomes in Canvas, a quick way to attach standards to our quizzes and our assignments that give both the teacher and the students a quick view of where the students are in terms of mastering these standards. So this is a nice feature that you can use. It's something I hope that you can try next time that you're developing your assignments and quizzes.